I am looking for a diamond in this pile of rocks. Now, I would settle for some gold. My problem is that I have no idea what gold or diamonds look like in their natural state in the ground. So my chances of finding one that I can take home and cherish forever are pretty slim. Now, I do know what a cut and polished diamond looks like set in a band of gold, by way of, for instance, in an engagement ring, and that's pretty cool. But I don't know what it looks like in the ground. True love is not as rare as diamonds, and great guys certainly aren't that rare. And that's good news, because you're going to need a great guy if you're looking to find true love. The vast majority of women are fully capable of forming the bonds of true love. Their male counterparts, not so much. And that's why it's so critical to know the difference between a great guy, one who is also capable of forming the bonds of true love, ready, willing, and able, and a not so great guy who may have a different motivation or a different agenda. He may be looking for something different than what you're looking for. Listen, any woman can have a man that no other woman wants. Not every woman can have a man that every other woman wants. A great guy. I was at a party several years ago, and I was talking to some young people about, the criteria that they use to select, men. What do you ladies look for in a guy? And they were talking to me about that, and we were interrupted by this older woman, and at the time she was probably pushing 40, 45, and she was a little disheveled, hadn't showered, and I think she may have had some issues, and I feel sorry for her, I truly do, but she interrupted us in our conversation, and she said, "Oh, finding a man is so easy." And I thought, well, okay, I want to hear what you have to say on that. She said, "I took an ad out on Craigslist, and I said, that I was a woman. I said how old I was. I described myself, and I said I was looking for a casual sex partner. Well, within a few hours, I had 40 responses." She said, "Finding a guy is so easy." And I kind of chuckled to myself, and I said, well, yeah, if that's the guy you want, you can find that anytime, anywhere. That is one of the reasons why we took 6 years to dive deeply into the difference between great guys and not so great guys, to define those characteristics, behaviors, and temperaments that truly make a man worthy of a true love relationship. There's no shortage of good intentions in the world, and as you're a little girl and you're raised, you're told what to look for. You're kind of told what a polished diamond and polished gold looks like. And that's a good thing. However, not so great guys also know what you're looking for. They also know what you were raised with in terms of criteria, and they're kind of good at mimicking that behavior. So you really got to be careful. There's also no shortage of the Harold Hills of the world, and these are the guys that'll pull their wagon into the town square, and they'll sell an elixir that cures whatever ails you at the time. They got a trick that you can use to have a man fall in love with you forever. One trick if you only learn it. Well, I question the validity of that to begin with. But the more important fact about that is that without knowing the difference between a great guy and a not so great guy, you're going to end up right back here at this pile of rocks, and you're going to end up taking a rock home and having another crappy relationship. The value proposition of this class is to teach the difference between those behaviors, characteristics, and temperaments, and to give you litmus tests that you can use out in the real world, out in the field, not necessarily here, but out at the club or walking around town or even online, so that you can be sure that you are in fact engaging a man who is ready, willing, and able to form the bonds of true love. And that's really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get cleaned up, stop prospecting for the day, and I'll meet you back in the classroom, and we'll dig a little deeper into this subject. Okay, you are in class 101. Great guys versus not so great guys. If that's not the right class, don't sweat it, it happens. Just let us know so that we can get you over to the right class. The Jurassic Park looking guy playing with rocks during the intro to this class, I should have told you that the value proposition was to help you be able to determine the difference between a great guy and a not so great guy. Now, a great guy is one who is ready, willing, and able to form the bonds of true love, and a not so great guy, well, he's kind of not. He may have a different agenda, or he just may not be ready to do that. So we want to make sure that you can do that. Before we dive deeply into the material, what I'd like to do is to outline some objectives that we're going to need to cover in order to deliver on that value proposition. Number one, we're going to provide a definition of a great guy, and that's for love purposes. You know, when we talk about great guys and not so great guys, we're not talking about bad people. Not so great guys are not bad people. They're just not ready, willing, or able to form the bonds of true love at this point in time. So, you know, we want you to be able to connect with somebody who is, and that's important. Next, we're going to familiarize you with the behaviors, characteristics, and temperaments of great guys. What separates them from the rest of men out there, and what makes them prepared to enter into that love relationship and lifelong commitment with you. Number three, we're going to define not so great guys. The fourth objective is to explain the different types of not so great guys. And then what we want to do is provide some litmus tests that you can use so that you can be very sure. And I'll tell you why this is important, because, you know, not so great guys, sometimes they're not even aware. I mean, I'll talk to them, I'll have a conversation with them, I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, you know, are you looking for true love? Oh, yeah, absolutely. If the right woman comes along, I'm looking for true love. Okay, well, the women that you date, you know, are they necessarily the right women? Well, no, not necessarily. Okay, so you're not looking for true love with them. Do they know that? And they're like, well, and I don't think they're trying to be evil or nefarious. I just think they want the comfort of a dating relationship, but they're not willing to commit with the woman they're dating, and that's really kind of unfair to her, and that's where you get a little jaded. That's where you get into bad relationships, because your objective is different than his objective. So I want you to be able to literally marry up with a guy who is looking for the same thing that you're looking for, and hopefully that's true love. Lastly, we're going to actually go out in the field, and we're going to work some practical exercises out in the field. Now, I want to demonstrate to you just how to use the litmus tests that we talk about as part of the objectives for meeting this value proposition. I want you to see directly how to use them and what to look for in answers that guys will give you to help you determine, you know, hey, is this guy really looking for what I'm looking for, or, you know, does he have a different criteria, different agenda? So, welcome.